Hello, hello. My name is, of course, Giuseppe, and I am joined by the co-host with the most, Terrance.
Of course, yes, sir. We are here.
Bit of a different intro, Terrance, because we wanted to make this little intro. We recorded an episode of the Backcourt, which is our NBA podcast, but we
Mhm.
decided, you know what, we're going to put it on need as a little bonus episode, because we don't talk about the Backcourt too much, and we want to see if gauge interest on kind of the main flagship podcast, see what people think about it. Um,
That's the show where we really just shoot the shit about NBA stuff.
Yes, we could talk. We don't ever go off topic on there because we just have there's so many
It
things to say
just
about the
keeps
NBA
going.
at any day.
It's going. A lot of a
Um,
lot of heated debates too.
yeah, if you want to know what we think
Yeah.
about Kyrie Irving not playing, if you want to know about the NBA 75, we talk about
You
all
want to
that
know
in
how
there.
much I dislike Giannis and then kind of
Came
fell in
back.
love with him.
But it is part of the same show. We record it the same way. So you have upcoming right now. You just have an episode of the Backcourt. If you like it, if you want more of it, you can go to the Backcourt on any Apple service or any podcast service, I should say. And if you like it, let us know. We can maybe keep doing them because right now I don't know, we're doing them whenever we decide to do it. But if you really like it, maybe we can do them more regularly.
Yeah.
Email and everything is the same. Need I say more pod at gmail.com. But yeah, on with the show.
Enjoy.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Backcourt. My name is Giuseppe. That's Terrance.
Yes, sir. Season two.
Season 2, episode 1? Is that what we call this?
Season 2. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, we're seasons for sure.
Terrance, something we talked about many times on the Backcourt season 1, and that we've talked, and that's happened on our flagship podcast, Need I Say More, is that we can predict the fucking future. Okay, I mean, am I wrong about that?
I mean, it just happens, man. It's a natural thing.
We
It's a natural thing.
talked ad nauseum about how Kyrie, he was an issue, and we talked about how, and you said many times, it's a job to him. It's not more than that, which it should be because he's getting paid $35 million for it. It's more than a job. And where are we at, Terrance? First thing we're talking about on Backcourt season 2, episode 1, Kyrie Irving. Fucking not playing the whole season as of right now because he won't get a COVID shot.
He will not get one shot, mind you.
Yeah, he only needs.
The NBA is not requiring you to have.
He can either get the Johnson & Johnson or one of the two he needs for.
They're just asking you to get one shot.
But no, Kyrie is too stubborn and too thick-headed to just
I'm
go.
sorry,
Yeah,
not
no
the
problem.
NBA. The NBA is not asking that. New York State.
Oh yeah.
Man, yeah. Let's
That's something else
that,
too.
Make sure.
People piss me off. They're like, how is it okay? Kyrie Irving doesn't get to play games, but Bradley Beal is unvaccinated, can play games. It's like, listen, and everyone needs to hear me when I say this. This is a city law. The NBA, and in fact, no one is above the law. That's why it's the law, Terrance. So Kyrie Irving, who lives and when he pays his taxes, files New York taxes. Okay, he has to follow the city law. And the city law says that since he lives here and he cannot work in, whatever a stadium, whatever they classify it under, and not be vaccinated. Okay. Bradley Beal lives in Washington, D.C. or, works in Washington, D.C. They don't have that law. What do you want the NBA to do?
It's nothing. It's nothing. And Adam Silver said it very elegantly. This is not an NBA versus Kyrie Irving issue. This is a New York State.
It's not an NBA issue at all. Is what he was
versus
100% right with that.
Kyrie Irving, or it's New York State.
Well, I think it's
this mandate.
Well, no, it's the city. I don't think the state as a whole.
State. Sorry, yeah, New York City that has the mandate in place.
And that's the thing. And Adam Silver's 100% right. Like, what do you want the NBA to do? They can't. They're a company. They're just like the bodega down the street. They have no say in laws. Like that's not how it works. They have.
It's like you trying to argue with the cashier instead of talking to the manager. And then even when you talk to the manager, they're like, "Hey, look, I just work here."
Like, it's like you arguing with Dave down the street about what the bodega did.
It's so much bigger than me. Like
this
is a mute point right now. Like if it's say a company policy, you're like, well, your company is screwed up. You know what? You might be right, but I can't change it. I'm not the one.
That's the thing.
That can make this change.
The reality is, like, there's two cities that have NBA teams that have to deal with this. San Francisco and New York City have both passed laws. Actually, I think LA did too, right? Or something.
LA, yeah.
And it goes into effect, I think, next month. That say, and the variations that you need to be vaccinated. I think San Francisco is fully vaccinated. New York is just one shot. you need to have some level of protection. That's the laws. Okay. If the NBA, just like the bodega or just like McDonald's, they're not above the law, even though some people might tell you otherwise. So there's nothing I can do. The point is, Kyrie, listen, I have said vocally on the show many times, Kyrie bothers me because he's not as good as Kevin Durant or James Harden or, Jokic or Doncic. Like, he's a great player, but he's not that level, Kawhi Leonard level.
I still think he was snubbed from the 75 though.
No, he wasn't.
We'll get to that.
With that in a minute. But the problem is, like, he's not that good, and he causes so many problems that he's not even close. If he was as good as LeBron James, he wouldn't even be worth it then, but he's definitely not worth it now. And this is what I mean. Like, this is the problem we had last season, was like, you can't be the number, like, you can't be paid $30-something million and go, well, it's just a job. Like, unfortunately, if you're getting paid this much money for such a big thing like basketball, it needs to be more than a job.
Ungrateful.
Yeah,
it comes out super ungrateful, super entitled.
I'm not saying like if he found out his wife was in a car accident, he goes, well, you got to play anyway. Like, no, that's not the same thing. What I'm saying is, if you're being paid $30-something million, it needs to be more than a job, because it's not just you showing up to work. You have to work on your craft all year. You have to pay attention, be locked in and focused. Yeah. And a situation like this, you are, right? Yeah, you're an athlete. And here's the thing. I think what he's doing is one of the most selfish things he could do, because not only is he going, well, if I get this shot, if I get a vaccine, I'm protecting myself, I'm protecting my family, and everyone I come in contact with. When you're like a celebrity, dude, you know how many people they come in contact with? It's not like it's me and you, who we can primarily deal with like our family and maybe, like, he's dealing with so many people day in, day out. So he's just basically saying, like, yeah, I don't care. If I happen to get it and get you sick, and then you get your grandmother sick and she dies, or, you give it to your son and then, he has to deal with the hospital for a few weeks. Like, it's not, whatever, man. It's not, I don't want to get the shot. Right. That's number one. Number two, bro, his team, they need him. Okay. He considers himself a quote unquote leader. You are not leading, are you? You're fucking at home right now because you don't want to be there because you won't get the shot.
I think the Nets are still favorite, but I think they're more vulnerable without him. And on the offensive things, it's like we can outscore a lot of teams with just Harden and KD.
Right.
But the threat level raises to, like, code red when he's on the team as well.
Yeah, and I think that, but also remember, so we're not gonna have to pay him about half his salary, because he's basically choosing not to play any game that he didn't get the shot for. The other half, the Nets said, no, we're going to sit him because it doesn't work as a part-time player. And it's a decision I applaud, by the way. But the reality is, all like 34 million of that is still getting hit on the cap. So that is another huge problem. Let's say that wasn't the case or something, or we could then sign someone else. So it's not even just him individually. It's the fact that we have a $34 million that's being held up with him. Yeah, like, we could have signed another player, man, or two players, we could have had two big role players or three big role players with the amount of money we to pay him. And so that's really what the issue is. It's not even just what he provides, that we are losing out on the other talent we could have had. And obviously I know now, like, I don't know how many free agents really are available, but it's a problem, like, it's a supremely selfish thing that he's doing. And here's my biggest problem. No one, including Kyrie, ever has a reason for why they're not getting the shot. It's the same answer every time. It's personal.
Not a real one.
It's personal. It's personal. It's like with Ben Simmons right now. Ben Simmons saying he's not mentally fit to play. I question that. I think he just doesn't want to play, and they can't take his money if he says he's not mentally fit to play. And maybe I'm wrong. So if I am, I apologize. But these are like the catch-all excuses now. It's personal or it's a mental thing. No one can say anything. Everyone goes, well, okay. So whatever. Kyrie, he's a supreme disappointment, I think. Terrance, let me pitch this to you. What would you say about this?
What's up?
Kyrie Irving, D'Angelo Russell, trade him.
Ooh.
Tell me D'Angelo Russell doesn't deserve to come back home where his career started, number one. Number two, tell me he's not a perfect replacement. They're similar.
D'Lo doesn't get enough credit for
No.
the change that happened in Brooklyn while he was here with him, Karis LeVert, and Spencer
Listen, he
Dinwiddie.
may have been born in California. He was bred in Brooklyn. Let me
That
tell you, man.
in Brooklyn, if you talk to a lot of real Brooklyn fans,
They loved him.
They love
Dude,
D'Angelo Russell. He still gets a lot of love in Brooklyn.
Terrance,
I'll tell you that for sure.
I think one of my favorite seasons of any basketball I've ever watched, or Nets, I should say, Nets basketball, was the season where he became an all-star. It was so much fun to watch. I mean, the whole team evolved, but watching him go from this guy who people were like, should he have been the number 2 pick? I don't know. The whole Nick Young thing, and he was kind of underwhelming, to just blossom into this all-star. Like, he did it, not literally immediately, but the year before he was injured, so he only played like half the games.
Tough.
And then he played, 81 games, and he was just so good. And every game in, game out, he was just playing so well.
That's tough, man. He's tough.
And tell me he's not like a perfect replacement for Kyrie, though. They're similar players, right? They're both good 3-point
100%.
shooters. They know how to initiate the offense.
You can get in the paint, and he can also finish at the rim.
Right. Yeah, and I think,
don't
get me wrong, I think Kyrie is probably a better overall player, but I don't think the disparity is that high. I think when you really boil it down,
if you say Kyrie's a 10, then you're saying D'Lo's an 8.5.
Right. And I think the biggest difference is the flashiness of Kyrie. D'Angelo Russell isn't especially flashy. Like, he's a good player, but he doesn't have the handles or the finishes that Kyrie does, which is what is super exciting.
Without it.
Yeah, who gives a shit about that? But thing about D'Angelo Russell is that, like, he is also like Kyrie in that, yes, he's a point guard. He has no problem sliding next to James Harden at the 2, because he can be a secondary playmaker. He can average 5-6 assists while Harden does like a 10 a game.
Man, I think D'Lo would thrive.
And Minnesota can get Kyrie. Listen, Minnesota needs a big player.
Somehow figured out how to make that happen, that would be amazing. That would be like a swan song.
Do you want to know
him coming back to finish the era of the change? It was because
he started it. It was because
of him we got KD. Because one of the things KD said was, "I love the way they played. They played so tough. Yeah. They grinded. Like he was like, they really had something, an edge to them." And that's from D'Lo. Remember, he was the leader on that team.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert was very quiet.
Yeah,
he was kind of to himself. Same with Spence.
But that was the thing that makes me a little sad. Like, the team that was built that made us an attractive agent, a place that get KD over there. Joe Harris is the only one left. Karis LeVert, Jared Allen. We
Shout
traded
out to Kenny too.
Spencer Dinwiddie left. Like, all these guys that built this team, D'Angelo Russell, have all unfortunately gotten traded or left. We only have Joe Harris. So not only would that be awesome to get D'Angelo Russell back, but like, I just don't want Kyrie. Like, D'Angelo Russell is so much more low maintenance, Kyrie. Man. Like, D'Angelo Russell is one of my favorite players. I would love nothing more than to see him suit back up.
Absolutely. 100%.
I think you want to know. I think there's one. I think the biggest, because I think the salary is actually fairly similar. I think the only thing,
the trade machine that they have online, the free trade.
Yeah, machine. I should actually. I think you want to know. I think the biggest thing that's holding it back is relationships. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns loves D'Angelo Russell, and he wanted him to play.
Didn't they play in college together?
I think, right? Or they were just great. I know they're great friends. I don't know if I don't know what, but they're both great friends. They've wanted to play together forever. Apparently, the same thing with Devin Booker. They're all like really good friends. But also with KD and Kyrie, like, KD wanted to play with Kyrie. So I do wonder, like, if that it might be the only big problem.
That sucks too. That sucks for KD. Yeah. Like, I wanted you here. Like, like
KD might not have come if it wasn't for that.
Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the one that was like, "Look, I will come, but you got to, we need Kyrie to come too."
But at the same time, I think right now, if you add, like, if Kyrie is standing staunch in this decision, I think if you ask Kyrie, or if you ask KD and Harden, like, he's not playing the season and he's not going to re-sign up this next season, and like, we have an opportunity to get D'Angelo Russell, I think they'd go, yeah, like the trade. Because
they're at the point where they don't care.
But what does it matter, right? Like, if he doesn't want to change it, he doesn't play for us this season. Next season, he leaves somewhere else. So he'll never play another game for us regardless.
The thing about guys like KD and James Harden,
they want to win.
Ball. They just want to ball. They forget everything else or whatever. Like, James Harden wants to hang out. That's his thing. He wants to hang out in clubs. He likes to hang out with the rappers and stuff like that. That's his thing. But he still shows up and does his job.
Exactly.
A little bit more low maintenance, He might be out too, but he's definitely more so in the corner of the club than being in the middle.
But Terrance,
They come to work, they do their job, they just want to ball.
That's
thing,
man.
I just want to ball.
That's the perfect. See, that's the thing, right? Like we talked about this. There was all those rumors about, or not rumors, or reports about how Harden was living this insane lifestyle with Houston. They let him do anything. Like he would show up late, he'd do all. And I completely disagree with all.
Do my job.
But I disagree with all that bullshit. Like he shouldn't have been doing any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, he almost never missed games, man. He showed up every day. He showed up, he played. His goal was very clearly a championship. And his number one thing was basketball. And while it was obviously important for him, he wanted, yes, like go to clubs and party and all that stuff. He still showed up. That's not what Kyrie does. Kyrie's like, I just do whatever I want. Listen, I'm telling you, like, if he's really stuck on this decision, I think we need to trade him. And especially because, like, even if he decides to like get the shot or something, is he gonna re-sign next season? Do we like, is that gonna happen? Like he could be a free agent next summer.
Yeah.
I think the Kyrie chapter's done. I think we need to look into the D'Angelo Russell, return is what we need. God, I would love that. Anyway,
75, NBA 75.
NBA 75. So I'm sure everyone who's listening knows the NBA released. They did this 25 years ago for the NBA 50. The 50 best players ever played in the NBA. They did this in 1996. 25 years later, 2021. They're saying the NBA.
Years old.
Huh?
I was 6 years old.
Yeah, I was 5. But they talked about, or they did this. They announced the NBA 75. So same thing, 75 best players in the last 75 years since the NBA started. Now, notable.
The 50 that made it or back. The 50.
The 50 that made it back. The newest additions, the obvious ones like Steph Curry's on there, LeBron James Harden, Kevin Durant, Westbrook is on there.
Reggie Miller, Dominique Wilkins.
Yes. Yeah, I don't have the list in front of me, actually.
Bob McAdoo. So I think the only notable, like, how did this person not make it is Klay Thompson. Really?
Klay was the one of the best players on a team that went to the 5 finals. Like, let's not forget that they won 3 championships. He's one of the best 2-way players in the league. I think people forget Klay because he doesn't have as many like accolades as like Steph and KD had. But like Klay is a beast, man. Like they would not have won any like those champions. It's like Scottie Pippen. Like, do you think the Warriors would have had all that success without Klay? No.
I agree. My choice. I have 2 choices. I have a 1, and then I have a 2. So my 1 is Dwight Howard. I do feel like he was snubbed. I heard this argument. Richard Jefferson made a big deal about it, and once he went through everything, and I was like, you know what, he has a valid.
But Dwight was only good. He was good for like 7 or 8 seasons. You know what Dwight is? Dwight Howard.
Hold on, only 7 to 8 seasons.
Dwight Howard is
Tracy. That's a long time in the NBA.
Listen, Dwight Howard is Tracy McGrady, except Dwight Howard kept playing at a mediocre level, whereas Tracy McGrady just retired. Like, that is what it is. These are great players. What?
Due to injury.
Right. But Tracy McGrady was a beast, but if he was a beast for like, he was like 6, 7 to 8 seasons. If he was a beast for like 12, 13, those are what the greats are. Like Kobe, MJ, all these guys are great for a long time. But it's a smaller amount of time.
But here's the thing that always kind of gets misconstrued. Like when we talk about greats, are we just saying accolades or are we saying impact? Like what are the criterias?
Well, it's all of it, right? It's your stats, it's your accolades, it's your impact. Like Dwight Howard was a really great player with the Magic, but
great player with the Magic, multiple all defense teams, multiple defensive player of the year.
So was Ben Wallace though. And Ben argument Ben Wallace's impact on him. Ben Wallace had I think Ben Wallace had a bigger impact than Dwight Howard. He's not on this list. No one's arguing that. Ben Wallace won a championship with the 2 finals. He was the anchor of that team, if more than anybody. But he wasn't a huge all-star and wasn't scoring a lot, so people just ignore that.
And I think that's what puts Dwight over because the all-star appearances do count for something.
But I think that's the only reason people are arguing with this. Like Dwight Howard scored more points. Does that make him definitely better than Ben Wallace? It's like, well, no.
Not definitely better, but impact-wise, he brought in the new era during the Magic time. They went to the finals. He did take them to the finals, right? Like they lost against Kobe and Powell. Like,
listen, he did, and I'm not saying Dwight Howard wasn't awesome. He was great during those times, but when you only are great for like 6, 7, 8 years
bro.
compared to, and maybe that's even too much. I think
You say 8 years like it's a short period of time to be in the league. Like that
no,
is a
no, but
long time
what
in
I'm
the
saying is
league.
being elite. And if you want to be one of the best players, you want to be top 75, you have to be sustain that. Like Kobe wasn't great for 7, 8 years. Kobe was great for like 15 of them of his 20. Like same thing with like Shaq and all the guys. They were great for like 10, 12, 13 years minimum. And like it's Tracy McGrady was a beast for that like 7, 8 year period. And then he just injuries, he fell off. So it's kind of like,
Well, we gave it to Melo, who
it's
was
kind of
out of the
like,
league for a whole year.
yeah, but like 2 years ago, he still had like 13 years of being like elite in the team. And I think he's actually borderline a little bit. I think
he is borderline.
Yeah,
he's definitely borderline.
But he was elite,
especially
for
never
like
making it out of the first round.
Second round.
Second round?
Yeah, Tracy McGrady never made it out of the first round.
T-Mac, okay.
But that's the thing with Melo. Like, I think people just like Melo. I think people feel bad and they kind of just like who he is. So he gets a little bit of a boost. People don't like Dwight Howard. So I think that's probably part of it.
We missed Vince Carter. Vince Carter didn't make the list.
Again, do you think come on, man. No.
That's probably more of a heart thing for me. That's why I said I have two.
I think he was like more of a heart. But I think Vince Carter was like, he's kind of one of those dudes that like he was really flashy.
He has impact. He has NBA impact.
He did
over everything else.
But that's the thing. It was his impact. What else can you say about him? Like he was never a perennial. He made a bunch of all-star teams. Was never like an all-NBA team guy. He never made it past second round. Like, unfortunately, like his lack of success. It was more like
make it past. Didn't he make it to the finals on the Nets?
No,
that was right before he
came in after. Yeah, he came.
That was right.
But that's the thing about Vince Carter. I think he's he's kind of like who's a good example. He's kind of like Kyrie in a way where like people really like him while he's playing, and people like what he does. He's exciting, but he was not maybe quite that good. Like he wasn't like an every year all NBA team type player. He like Reggie Miller. I think people really like him, and if you really look, he only made like a handful of all-star appearances.
I mean,
like that. Yeah, people liked him, and he had
top 3 shooters.
Right. He has that. He went to the finals twice, I believe.
No,
once.
Reggie,
maybe just once.
I was about to say Reggie didn't go twice.
I think it was just one in 2000. He went. I think was the one time he went. But like Reggie Miller has like a bunch of big moments. I think it's all of these it's impact, Absolutely. It's individual accolades, and it's the length time period. It's kind of like what I would. This is a weird maybe comparison. If I said who's the best rapper of all time, right? A lot of people would say, Biggie, Tupac. They're definitely up there, right? And people might not necessarily. People look at Eminem, and it's a bit more divisive, right? But it's but Eminem has been great for a long time, whereas Tupac and Biggie, man, they both died. So there's like a legacy of these two great rappers died in their prime, but we don't know if they didn't die. They might have been totally flamed out, man. They would have been maybe shit after that, for all we know. So a lot of people would never go, Eminem's not better than them. But the reality is like he sustained it for a long period of time for 20 something years at this point. You know what I mean? So I think there is something to be said about all of these things. And so
Dominique, who do you think you would put on the list?
Who's not on it, you mean?
Yeah, who's not on it? You would
gotta be Klay Thompson for me is the number one, I think.
Really? Okay. So that's from this generation. What about
Damian Lillard? He's kind of like Melo. He's a bit borderline.
I think. Hold on. He's also, the thing about Damian Lillard, I think he continues to get overlooked in a lot of these conversations.
His reason is because of the lack of success. Like he individually is great, but they never go anywhere.
But it's not his fault. It's not his.
It's really not.
He's thugging it out. Like when you talk about somebody that's loyal to what they're going through. And he even came out yesterday and said, "I am not leaving the Blazers. Like, I don't run from the challenge."
We'll see about that.
I think he's going to change his mind as well.
Aldridge said that, and then a year later he left.
I think, but he has to. He has to be more in these conversations. Like,
listen, man, I'm telling you, it's like I said, it's all of these factors. Like it wasn't Tracy McGrady's fault that couldn't get past the first fucking round. He was a beast, but the team wasn't good enough. And that, unfortunately, man, whether that's fair or not, you're judged on both of those factors. Like if you can't get past the first round, second round, I don't know. It's just like, why are you amazing? It's hard to really make that argument. Like individually, Tracy McGrady was fucking fantastic. But if you can't have a little success that way, it's hard to really go, oh yeah, one of the greatest of all time. Like no one's considered the greatest of all time who hasn't been in the finals. You know, like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, MJ, LeBron, KD, Kawhi, these guys have gone in the final and they've won it. You know, like that is part of it, even if it's not necessarily fair because you're one player, and if you're surrounded, they can't build a team around you, then they can't build a team around you.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Kyrie doesn't deserve it, so I'm happy he didn't make it. Sorry.
Uh,
Flash, man, style over substance with Kyrie.
Rookie
Also,
of the year, All-Star
Rookie of the year
MVP,
gives a
Finals ring, multiple All NBA teams,
Who are you talking
multiple
about?
All-Stars. Kyrie,
Not Finals MVP.
All-Star MVP.
Well, who gives a shit about All-Star MVP? That means
What are you
nothing.
talking about? Didn't Kobe break the record? Like that's a big thing.
I mean, All-Star MVP is just like, you know, you showed out the most in a game that is just for fun. I mean, that's
They
cool
count
and
it.
all that. But I'm
It's
saying
literally going against the best players.
but
Like
it's
in your
for
you're
fun.
the guy.
For fun, Terrance. The finals is where the best players go at it. The All-Star games where they go at it for fun.
Andre
It's a pickup
Iguodala
game.
deserved that Finals MVP that year over
Yeah.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Over LeBron.
Hey, who won it?
Even though he lost.
Who won?
Nah,
You can't-
man. I always
can't
look
give
at
Finals
that
MVP to a loser. You can't lose and be the most valuable. You can't be the most valuable player on the court if you didn't win. Listen, this is an argument for the ages. People have argued this before, and I'm not saying LeBron didn't carry that fucking load that year, but Iggy prevented him from being better and also played really well.
Yeah. I just always I looked at that MVP and I'm like, like
I think he deserved
really yours?
I think he was the most. He would listen. The biggest reason that the Warriors won was because LeBron and his brilliance was he actually. If you look back, his shooting numbers were pretty bad because Iggy was making it hard. He's putting up a lot of points, but you shoot the ball like 40% or something, like 38%. Like there's that's not you can't. That's LeBron James. You can't just do that to him. But Iggy slowed him down as well as average. He averaged like 17 points a game after averaging like 7 during the regular season. That's a big deal. It's the same reason Kawhi was Finals MVP that first time because he held LeBron and really limited him, and not entirely, but you limit him, and then you do enough on the offensive end that like you are the most valuable player, even if you don't have the best like stat line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I think that Lillard. We'll see, man. You know, he might make it. Unfortunately, you have to wait 25 years, but he might make NBA 100.
No, he'll definitely he'll be one of the greats.
It depends on what happens with his career, man. If he fucking goes to the finals, if
he'll get the Melo treatment.
He probably will. That's actually a good point. Yeah, he probably will.
He'll get the Melo treatment.
They'll love him. They'll love him.
Yeah. Like we'll love what you did.
But it really
individually,
depends.
even
it depends, man. Like
never really got over the hump.
What if Lillard gets traded for Kyrie? He wins a championship this year. People will be talking about Damian Lillard. Because guess what? He won a championship in Brooklyn. Remember that? You remember that big 3-pointer he hit in Game 3? That's what they'll be talking about. You can't say that now. You can point out these good shots Damian Lillard's made in series he went on to lose. You know, like all that awesome time he knocked out the Rockets with that 3-pointer. It's an awesome shot. He then lost in the next round. You know, like if that were his way up the mountain, he did that. He did some great in round 2 conference. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like these moments become less good when
you know what I
don't
just realized.
Anything. What's that?
Rudy Gobert got it, but Dwight Howard didn't.
Rudy Gobert got what?
He's in 75.
No, he's not.
He's not?
No, I'm all 99% sure he's not. I don't.
Okay, all right.
Maybe did I miss that?
Something else. No, because I saw something on TNT. No. I saw something on TNT.
LeBron, James Harden, Melo, Dominique Wilkins, Allen Iverson. Those are like the biggest. Chris Paul. Those are like some of the biggest like new ones that have been thrown on there. Rudy Gobert definitely doesn't deserve to be on. That'd be insane. No. I'd be furious if Rudy Gobert's on there.
There are some people that Dennis Rodman, huge moment for him.
But see, Rodman is like
hard work.
Rodman never had a great. I mean, his rebounds look great, but that's about it. But he had a huge impact.
Yeah, he got it for hard work.
5 championships, man. He's a big part of those teams for a reason. Like even his shit off the court, like the dude hustled, man.
Patrick Ewing, another hard work entry.
I'm surprised he didn't make the 50. To be honest with you, I mean,
I think he was on a cusp.
He must have
think
been. He
was
must have been
on a
like
cusp.
he must have been like Lillard is now because that was at the tail end of his career at that point. He was already a beast by that point.
Yeah. He definitely was on a cusp right there.
Yeah.
Um.
Some good additions. I think it's hard, man. And the worst part about that is that there's no
Giannis. Really quick, Giannis is on there.
I think if you're below 30 years old, you need to have a substantial resume to make that team. I think
Giannis has an amazing resume.
Two
at
MVPs.
26 years old.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is why, like with Kyrie's 29.
26.
What I'm saying is, if you're below, like Durant, LeBron, we all know they get it. But if you're below 30 years old, like why do you deserve to be on this list now? It's like, well, Giannis has 2 MVPs, defensive player, just won a championship with Finals MVP.
Yes,
he's a slew of all defensive
100%.
teams, all NBA teams. Yeah, he's done what he needs to do 100%. To make that list.
Damian Lillard is on this list.
It's on what list?
75th anniversary team.
He made it.
Damian Lillard is on the list. Yes, absolutely.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah, man. I'm looking on NBA.com.
Okay, well there you go. Why?
I don't know how he missed that, but we did say he deserved it.
Everyone listening is like, you fucking idiots. You're not listening.
Yeah. Good thing we double checked ourselves.
I was trying to find the list. I couldn't find it. I was like, I'm only finding like people talking about the list.
No, it's on NBA.com.
You should. I don't know why you're not sharing your screen like you normally are. That
is helpful. Very true, sir. You know,
we're so rusty. Oh, here's the whole list. Charles. It's just hard to go through the whole. This takes forever to go through.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Davis, I think is maybe not deserving, and he's below 30. Anthony Davis, and
he got the
he has no MVPs,
he
no
got the
defensive
LA LeBron treatment.
I guess. But remember, listen, Kevin Garnett deserves to be up there. I don't think Anthony Davis should be on that list.
Kevin Garnett's not on here?
No, he is. Yeah, he is.
Oh.
Right below Clyde the Glide Frazier.
Right below Frazier.
Tim Duncan got on naturally. I mean, Damian Lillard is on the list. Yeah. Ray Allen, Yeah, but other than
impact vote.
Other than a championship, he has an MVP to his name. He came in second like 5 times. He made the All NBA.
He doesn't have an MVP.
He does.
He has a. Oh yeah, he did. He did. He definitely does.
And he's come in second like a bunch of times.
Definitely does have one.
Here's Kawhi Leonard made it.
Deserving.
Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard's only issue is that, and people don't talk about this, the dude is always hurt. He hasn't played a full season ever. Yeah, no one seems to talk about that. Like, I think Ray Allen is borderline though. I think Ray Allen's an impact one.
He might be in it. Yeah. Definitely an impact. But 2 rings though. 2 rings.
True.
You can't ignore that.
You can't. No, you're wrong.
Giannis is getting better.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you've because not too long ago,
Giannis,
season one,
season one, and if you listen to season 1, you will definitely know I am not the biggest Giannis fan. I have always said that he was overrated, that he just has one move, that he was very predictable. I have
Terrance,
said all of these things.
Terrance, do you know what episode 6 the title is?
What?
Terrance thinks Giannis is predictable.
Yeah, I take that back. And here's why.
You did this towards the end of season 1, though. You said this. You were like, you know what? I think I was wrong about.
And now he's proven it. And here's why. Finals, the guy came out and refused to lose. There's certain players, when they play, you can see it in them. Like, oh no, he's not going to lose this. He's not playing to win. He's playing like, I refuse to lose this. Like, you're not going to beat me. I'm going to beat myself before you beat me. That's how Giannis played during the finals. Game 1, I watched game 1 versus the Nets, and I looked at Giannis and I was like, even though he still looks predictable, I'm not saying that he did anything drastically. It's just, it looks more fluid. It looks like he's not trying hard enough.
Those are the small things that great players do that, it's hard to even put into words, but like you just see them like moments better.
These are the moments where players say the game is slowing down for me.
Right.
I'm moving at my own pace. I'm doing what I want to do. Giannis is getting better. And the scary part about it is he's only 26. This guy is on pace to become the best player in the league. He's already at number 2. They got him behind KD. They're ranking him behind KD. but
I mean,
he's
yeah,
on
it's
pace in the next 2 years or so. If he could just develop a mid-range, maybe he doesn't need it. I don't think he needs it.
he
But
has
if
you know what it is? He either needs to stop shooting the three or develop a good shot because
this,
it's
yeah,
takes
that's it.
he
And
takes too many.
that's what I'm saying. It's like they're gonna build a wall. He's already noticed that. He sees it. You can watch games all day and see that, oh, they're just gonna build a wall so Giannis can't go downhill, right? He's not a
That's what
threat
Chris
from
Middleton is for.
mid-range. Right. Oh my God. He doesn't get enough praise. He showed
Chris
his ass
Chris
in the
Middleton
in
Chris
the NBA
Middleton is
finals.
Chris Middleton is like Klay Thompson, where like they play great on both ends. They're super impactful. Chris Middleton I don't want to say is more. I think is more valuable to the Bucks almost because Giannis is not necessarily a clutch player, but you know who is a clutch player,
No,
Terrance?
Chris
Chris
Middleton's getting
Middleton.
that ball. You know who Chris Middleton reminded me of during the
He proved it.
finals?
You know what's crazy from before you say that. You know what's crazy about Chris Middleton is not only did he prove he could be clutch, he proved he could be clutch when everyone knew he was getting the ball, which is even
Yes.
harder. There were multiple times on that finals run last year where it was like, well, we all know it's going to Chris Middleton on this one. Like they're not going to give it to Giannis, and he still would make those buckets. So like you can't teach being clutch. Like Damian Lillard is clutch, and you can't teach
Damian
that. He
Lillard's
just
clutch for
Lillard.
sure.
He's clutch.
The series versus the Nets in the NBA Finals, I looked at Chris Middleton and I said he's the next coming of Paul Pierce. He's a better version of what Paul Pierce was, and here's why I say that.
I don't mind that.
Here's why I say that. Paul Pierce used to get on my nerves. He used to piss me the hell off because he didn't move fast and he stayed where he knew he could knock down a shot. He always did the same couple of moves. Step back, mid-range, I'm gonna back you down. I'm take advantage of your 2 or your 1, possibly your 3 if you put on me, and I'm gonna make my shots. I'm gonna make it in the first quarter, and I'm definitely gonna make it in the fourth quarter. Chris Middleton, when I was watching those series and I was watching those games, I was like, he just will not miss these shots, but he's not doing anything extra. He's not moving fast. He's not moving. You know how Steph moves crazy off the ball and everything like that? No, he's going to his spots. He's moving at his pace, and he's knocking them down. It's very Paul Pierce-esque.
I like that comparison.
It is, when you watch his game and you start to watch Paul Pierce back in the days during his Celtics run and their finals run as well, you kind of see the same similarities of like it's going to him. And he's going to make it. Right. He's not 7 feet like KD. He doesn't have that advantage. He doesn't have the speed advantage or handles or anything like that. He's just going to do what works for him. So shout out to Chris Middleton. Shout out to Giannis. I don't think they'll be able to sustain what they captured in a bottle last year, but I do think that they're gonna be formidable.
What I said last year about the Bucks is after they beat us, I said you enjoy it because it's not happening next year. I stand by that.
No, they capture lightning in the bottle.
I think that if we're healthy, we're taking everyone down. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like even without Kyrie,
healthy and
Durant,
cohesive.
Harden, and I'm not worried about the cohesion because we'll get there. It's only game 2. But Harden and Durant will get us to the championship, to get us to the finals, as long as they're healthy. If everyone's fucking injured, then what can you do? It is worth mentioning Steve Nash, Dirk, and Shaq are on this list. I know people, it seems obvious, but they weren't on the first one because they were too young. Most of them weren't even playing at that point.
Funny thing about it, Shaq didn't know he made the list. If you watch TNT Thursday,
he must have known he'd end up on it though. Like, come on now. He's not
no, he just was like, when he showed up, because he showed up late, you can watch it on YouTube.
I haven't watched Inside the NBA lately. I really got to get on
Inside the NBA.
I love Inside the NBA.
Bro, they get better every year.
Dude, back in like I think back year. In like it was back in like March or April around that time. I'm sure I mentioned it on season 1. I was rewatching a ton of those episodes, like some old episodes and then all the newest ones. Like I just haven't, I think, watched any since because it's one of those things where like I don't have TV, so I have to like go on YouTube or whatever and find these clips. But I fucking love Inside. You know what's crazy? They need to put Inside the NBA, like all their old episodes just online for people to watch because people want to watch those episodes. Those old episodes are funny as hell, like all of them.
It's on NBA TV.
It's not though, man. They only have clips.
NBA TV.
It's only on clips. They don't have full episodes.
Oh, okay.
Unless
I never tried to go into it. No, I never try to go into it.
I would
just saw it,
rather
I
watch the
got it.
whole episode, to be honest, because there's a lot of good shit. Like, I don't want to just watch like the goofy shit they do. I want to watch like all of it, and they just don't do that enough. But anyway, NBA 75. If you didn't make it, I'm sorry. Clay, hopefully you'll make NBA 100.
Clay, please use this for motivation. I see a lot of.
I think he has a lot of motivation right now.
I think he sees this and he's like, "Are you serious?" Like I think he really sees this. As
Wayne
like,
Wade made the list.
D Wade, one of my favorite players ever. I've been following him since Michigan. Yeah, absolutely, man. D-Wade. Absolutely. I've been following D Wade since Michigan. I've had his jersey back then before everybody was hyped about D Wade.
You the first.
I was on it. Me and my cousin. Me and my godbrother Trey. We both.
God brother.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Your godfather's son.
No, it's a thing. Your godmother or your godfather's child. Yeah.
Yeah, I just said that. I said your godfather's son. You were like,
godfather. Yeah. But
I've only
never heard like a godbrother.
Godparents, yeah, but then but that's that.
I mean, it's kind of obvious though if they have.
But that seems like a made up thing. Like godparents is like, hey, we want like kind of watch over, like be there, blah blah. But after that, it's like you can't just make everything God. So what happens to your god brother's kids? What are they? God fucking nieces?
No, I mean after a while, you don't even say god brother. Like that's my brother. Like honestly,
I call you my brother, but that's
my brother.
Like that.
But we used to change jerseys. I used to have the black Miami Heat jersey, and he would have the white one, and we would like switch out.
Did you get a the Vice Dwayne Wade jersey? Because that was the
when I went to Miami,
they stopped making them now.
Buy one. Yeah, I wanted to buy one, and I should have just bought it
because they stopped making them. There's only a few years now. They're gonna stop.
Ah man,
because
I should have bought it when I was.
It's smart from a marketing point because then they'll bring it back in like 5-6 years. And everyone will go bananas.
Yeah. Hopefully, with the 75th anniversary, the Nets get to wear their old school blue and blue, red, and white.
Didn't KD mention last year he liked them? They probably will because he said that.
I hope so. I'm getting that. I haven't bought a jersey in years. I haven't bought a jersey in years. But if they bring that back as a Brooklyn Net throwback with the KD on it and everything I'm getting that.
Right.
I'm definitely getting that.
And finally, Terrance, let's talk about the Lakers. So Lakers are 0-2, which means nothing in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's fucking 2 games.
It's 2 games.
It doesn't matter. Like they're undefeated teams who are not gonna fucking be great. But
they still have a chance of going 72-10.
Yeah. But Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis last night in the loss against the Suns, they got blown out, by the way. They got into like an argument and they got like shoved each other on the bench. Now, Terrance, I got to be honest with you. That I think is a bad sign in game 2. This isn't mid-season shit. This is 2 games in. They've only played 2 games in, and they're pushing each other.
Yeah,
it's not a good thing. I'm telling you that it's a problem.
I mean, they're
one of many that the Lakers have.
Announcements, but response have came out with Dwight Howard saying it's not a big deal. It was about something.
Of course they're gonna say. What are they gonna say? I fucking hate that guy.
During the court, and kind of spilled over into the bench, and that's it. They're saying they're already over it. I don't think it's that easy to just be over something,
bro. Of course. Like what else are they gonna say? Nah, I fucking hate Anthony Davis. He's a douche. Of course they're gonna say that. So what I'm saying is I'm not saying that specific thing is a massive problem, but I think it's indicative of a problem with the team. Why are these 2 guys going to? First off, anytime any 2 teammates are getting like something like this, it's a problem. But then when it's game 2, Terrance, they got 6 months left.
Right. And I mean, look, and if you watch the video, like Anthony Davis is serious about something.
But this is what I'm like. I'm
he's
telling
serious
you, man,
about
this is a problem. The Lakers, we talked about this off air. We're talking about it now. The Lakers have a few problems. Number one, there are too many big heads on the team. Westbrook has a massive ego. LeBron, Anthony Davis are huge stars. You have Dwight
still eating his chips too.
See that guy? See that chick next to him though? That chick next to him is fine. Look at that. She's stacked too.
She doesn't even realize what's happening.
She's like, am I on TV? Let me take a picture of my hair. You can tell that I never understand why so many like women will go to games if they don't like basketball. They just like want to look nice.
They just want to be pretty.
But like they can do that anywhere. Why a basketball
Yeah, but
game?
it's different doing it around doing it at a basketball game or boxing. You ever go to a
Yeah.
fight? You remember at the fights at Barclays, the
Yeah,
fights,
but
the women
is it
used to
is
come
it?
in high heels,
But
furs.
my question is,
That's been a
is it
thing
a
for
TV
years.
thing or is it just, hey, we're going out to a big event? It doesn't
No,
matter
yeah,
what the event even
it's a big
is.
event thing. Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
it's a we're going out to a big event. We gotta show out.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Especially if
fine,
you
I
with your
guess.
man, especially if you sitting. First of all, if you sitting that close, you should look gorgeous.
She
Right behind
does,
the
to be
team.
fair. She doesn't
You're
cute as
right
hell.
behind the team. I can't even if I'm her man. You can't come out here in just jeans and sweats
But
and
look at him. He
like
doesn't look like he's wearing anything particularly nice. What is
yeah.
he
But
doing?
see,
He looks like he got what, a hoodie? No,
no,
maybe not a
because
hoodie.
she makes him look good.
Yeah, but listen, it's not the woman's job to dress up and you look like a fucking schlub. You got to match her,
No,
bro.
you got to match her fly. You always got to
Yeah,
match.
you.
You got
I
to
mean,
match your girl
if
fly.
me and you met up and Corey's looking, freaking gorgeous, and you're wearing like a fucking sweats and a stained t-shirt, I'm gonna be like, guy, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. You
Um,
can't come out the house like that.
no, come on. Anyway, my point is the problem with this fight is that you in game 2 you shouldn't be doing. You should be doing this in game 82, but you definitely can't be doing it this early in the season. There's a problem, man. Like
Or
too
it
many
could be a
big
good thing, Joe.
egos.
You just get it out the way now.
Nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. If KD and Harden went at it right now, you'd be like, no big deal. Get it out now. Because they gotta.
No. I'd be scared.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the
I'd
difference?
be scared.
All I'm saying is I think there's too many egos in the Lakers. You got Dwight, Melo, Rondo. These guys used to be big stars. Then you got Westbrook, who is a massive ego. You got LeBron and Anthony Davis, who are big stars. It's too many egos, man. It's just I think their best case, I think they win like 50 games.
50.
Yeah, I think they're going to underwhelm the season. I think we're at the point.
50 in the West puts you like almost damn near playing tournament.
What I'm saying, man. I think that we're at the point. Last year, LeBron James bled for the first time. I think what we saw is the god that is LeBron James that can get any team to the finals. Can't do it anymore. He's going to be 37, 2 months, and he can't bring these scrubs to the finals like he used to be, man. If this were
I think LeBron just wants to play till his son gets in the league, so they could be the first father-son duo.
I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. And I mean, he's still playing at a very high level, but he's no
absolutely.
longer the guy that can bring, like, remember those last 2 years of Cleveland? Where those teams were weak sauce, and he brought them to the finals. I think we're past that point. I think if you have the right team, LeBron gets to the finals, but I think the team they have now is not the right team.
No.
So unless they make
this can't work.
Trades.
You have the way that this team is built. Melo, Westbrook, Malik Monk, Avery Bradley.
Malik Monk, they're banking on him being an elite 3-point shooter, which is I just
That's
don't
a lot
know.
to ask. That's a lot to ask.
Last year he shot like 41. He shot like 41% from free, and I'm like, hey, that's great. The first 3 seasons he shot at like 31%.
Anthony
so
Davis,
I feel
every
like
time he hits the ground, you think he's out for the next 4 or 5 games.
Bones made of glass. Fucking
Charles Barkley calls him street clothes.
Yeah, because he wears street clothes more than Terrance. Let me ask you a question. What is the one thing? What is the one thing you need to give LeBron James to succeed?
Got to give him shooters.
And what does he have? Shooters. Anthony Davis. Of the 4 starters he plays with, you have Westbrook, who's famously the worst 3-point shooter in NBA history, and then you have Anthony Davis, who's just not a good 3-point shooter really at all. So right off the bat, 3 of your starting 5 are not good 3-point shooters. So it's just it's not. Kyrie and Kevin Love were weird fits altogether.
Wasn't
in terms
Kyle
of like
Korver on that team?
Huh?
Wasn't Kyle Korver?
I think he wasn't one of those years he jumped onto that team. Yeah, but what I'm saying is when your big 3 were, LeBron surrounded by Kyrie and Kevin Love, they were the 2 biggest players for LeBron. They can both stretch the floor. They can shoot the 3 ball. And even if that wasn't a match made in heaven, that team they obviously had.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to each of LeBron's rings, you got people like Ray Allen, Mike Miller, Kyrie, Kevin Love,
and in those first rings. Remember, that was before the 3-point revolution. But we still needed shooters, but you didn't. It wasn't as pertinent as it is now.
Yeah.
I think it's just a weirdly built team. I think they have a lot of vets, a lot of guys who used to be good and aren't, and you don't have the.
I think you take each of these guys and put them somewhere else, and the impact is better. Taking a guy like Carmelo and throwing him on the Jazz would make a
Exactly.
great
If
impact.
Dwight went to the Clippers, Rondo's with the Jazz,
Dwight going to the
those type of things,
Clippers,
yes, I get it.
you
It would
know,
work. But all of
take
them on one team,
no,
it doesn't
you
work,
know,
man.
even a honestly, even a guy like Westbrook taking him and saying, you know, I wouldn't throw him on the Warriors, but maybe move him to the East and say, hey, can you do this over at he has to come off the bench. I'm sorry.
But we know it's not going to happen.
I know, but
I agree
as
with
I'm
you.
thinking,
I agree
as I'm
with you.
thinking about this, right? What team can you put him on starting that he has a positive impact?
But we talked about this. Westbrook doesn't have positive impact. The way he plays is he's a black hole. Okay. And while some guys can get away with it, like James Harden got away with it in Houston because it worked, he's not that player. It doesn't
No,
work. The
but
way he
his
plays
style,
is full
his
intensity
style, right?
and black
Exactly.
hole. And
His style is going nowhere. Like his style is done actually. Like the style of being a point guard like that, like Russell Westbrook, because you got to think about it too. He is a different style of point guard. He is more of an offensive minded point guard like an Allen Iverson, but doesn't have the ability. You know, he's not great with assists. His triple doubles, yeah, he averages.
we all know
triple
he
doubles,
stuffs the
come on.
stats. Come on now.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, you know,
No
those
one's
triple
ever
doubles has an asterisk next to it.
Answer me this, Terrance. Why is a guy who's averaged 10 assists like 4 or 5 times? No one has once ever said the words Russell Westbrook is a great passer. Answer me
No.
that.
No, never
Answer
happened.
me that, Terrance. Why is that?
Never happened.
Why is that? Because everyone knows.
Right.
It's an open secret. He stuffs his stats. Everyone knows
But
no one's gonna come
these new point guards, the Donovan Mitchells, the Steph Currys, the Chris Paul, you know, the De'Aaron Fox, these new guys, they're pass first. They can score. Don't get it wrong. They can score, but they're gonna give you 8 to 9 dimes as well.
But you know what it is though, man, with Westbrook? It's 2 things. One, it's like you
said. Real
about
dimes too.
Right. But here's the thing. It's like you said, his first big issue is that he's like Allen Iverson. He loves more than anything to score. But his problem is that, yeah, when Allen Iverson did it, it was more accepted to just shoot 35 shots and not really care about the percentage. Whereas now that shit don't fly. There's no volume shooters anymore. But Westbrook still shoots at really bad percentages a lot of time, man. And not every game, but he's not a good shooter. He's good at, getting close, layups and dunks, and he can get a decent mid-range, but he's not a good shooter. And so that style of play doesn't work. But the other style of play is he's very clearly does not care about winning as much as he does glory for himself, which is why he gets triple doubles. He doesn't care about he won't make the right pass if it means he wouldn't pass it to LeBron if he knew LeBron would pass it to someone else to score. He would pass a bad pass to that person because he wants the assist. It's not about him winning. It's about him getting the glory.
Frank Vogel has to test Russell's seriousness. He said he wanted to do whatever it takes to win.
Who, Westbrook said that?
Westbrook said that.
Yeah, I'm sure
he's willing to do whatever.
We all
know
that's not true, but yeah.
Frank Vogel has to sit him in an office and say, "You said you're willing to do whatever it takes.
So we're gonna bring you on the bench.
This is what we need you to do."
I agree that he should do, but I don't think it'll work. He'll never go for it.
He'll never go for it. But then you throw it back in his face. This is what you said you're willing to do. And for this team to be better, we need you to do that. It took Carmelo a long time to accept it.
It took him a year of not playing.
He needed to. Had Carmelo accepted what he's doing now 4 years earlier, like 2 years earlier, after the Knicks, But had he come off the bench with Porzingis as the star, that team might have been more balanced. That last year. No, Porzingis wasn't ready to. Well, he wasn't ready to take the round. He wasn't ready to take the helms.
Yeah, but I'm saying he might have stayed anyway. But I think I'm not saying you're wrong. I had someone else tell me about this earlier this morning, actually. I just think Westbrook would retire before coming off the bench. He cares about one thing, glory. He wants people to go, man, look how good he is. Triple-double. Look how good he is. That's all he wants. He's a terrible clutch shooter, but he always takes the last shot. That's exactly what he is, man.
Is that not why you're here?
That's all he wants, man. That's why, no one's ever been oh, Westbrook made the best, he made the right move. No, he gets assists because he knows how to pass to guys who are going to score, but he never goes, oh man, that was a great pass to so. No, man, he's not willing to sacrifice anything. Like that's the thing. He's not sacrificing anything, right? He wants all-star appearances and
Every
all NBA
great team
teams,
has had the
which is
sacrifice.
why they're not a great team.
Every great team has had the sacrifice.
The Nets sacrifice. I mean, Harden and KD would score more if they were by themselves, but they're not. They're together.
First of all, I mean, KD doesn't have to sacrifice for anybody. It's people sacrifice for him.
What I'm saying is, like, if he had Westbrook's mentality, he wouldn't want to play with James Harden, or he would still want. What I'm saying is, if Kevin Durant had the same mentality as Westbrook, he would want to average like 35 every season.
And another thing,
but he doesn't because he knows.
I need James Harden to shut down the rumors of him going to Philly next year. He still hasn't came out.
That's fake rumors. There's nothing. We have no idea what he's going to do. I don't think he does either. I think he wants to stay.
But everybody's saying because Daryl Morey is over there in
that
Philly,
doesn't mean anything.
You know, and
he doesn't care about that. I don't think he cares about the GM unless he hated Sean Marks. Like he's not playing with the GM, nor is he going to deal the GM that much anyway.
And I feel like Brooklyn gives him a lot of free reign as well.
Also,
I'm pretty sure nobody bothered him over summer. Like James, get the hell out of London.
He's also in New York, man.
He got locked up in the summer. Yeah, he got locked up in Paris.
Paris, yeah. But here's the thing about Harden. I think Harden wants to win a championship because I think he's conquered over the mountain. That's what he really needs to do. And I don't know if he's going to go, well, there's a better opportunity in Philly. It's like Philly's a mess. Not just because the Ben Simmons things are always like a weird drama BS. Right now, he's playing with Durant. The greatest player in the NBA, arguably.
I don't think you can trust Embiid's health and reliability.
That's the thing. People need to, I've been saying this forever. People need to relax with Embiid. The motherfucker has never played more than like 62 games. He's never even played like most of a season. Like we can't have a guy who misses a quarter of a season every year and think he's amazing. Like I'm sorry. Like if you played there and that's unfortunate, but that health is part of being a good player. I mean, Brandon Roy was a beast, but no one said he's a greatest player of all time. He had to fucking retire
Brandon
early.
Roy, one of my favorite players, man.
Brandon Roy was a beast, but guess what? The dude only played like 4 seasons, then he had to retire. So, and again, so we talk about the NBA 75. If Brandon Roy had to stay in that for like 12, 13 years and then he had to retire,
hands down,
people would be
people
would have been talking about him. But when you do it for 4 years, it's like
Brandon Roy would have been.
I love
Brandon Roy would have overshadowed Dwayne Wade.
He's still he's like not even 40. You know that, right? He's still super young.
I know. But Dwayne Wade was the next version.
Yeah, he was
of Brandon Roy.
That kind of like explosive, took a lot of contact, kind of
people forget that, man. But Brandon Roy would have overshadowed a lot of Dwayne Wade's light, so to speak. Not saying Dwayne Wade wouldn't still be who he is. But, there's always that, like, when Michael and Kobe were going back together, it's like, oh, no. Like, Michael's the originator.
Right.
Kobe's, the second coming.
Yeah. But anyway, Terrance, we went on a little longer than we thought we would. But, hey, welcome back to the Backcourt.
Welcome back.
I think these episodes will be fairly infrequent. I think we're not going to do them once a week like we used to. So I think we're going to do them when we feel they should happen. Right now, it's opening week of the NBA.
Absolutely.
Tough to talk about. Maybe we don't do one for another 2 months. Who knows? But I think we'll do it when we feel it's necessary. I know a lot of people love the show, but if you want more of our opinions,
we love talking basketball.
We do. We talk about it for 5 more hours if we want to. But if you want to hear more about us, listen to our flagships podcast. Need I Say More pod? Nope. I'm getting mixed up. Need I Say More is the name of the podcast. If you want to email this show or that show, same email address, needissaymorepod@gmail.com. Follow us Twitter, follow us on Instagram @needissaymorepod. We, of course, end this show every week with some fortune cookie advice from Terrance.
I haven't done this in a while.
That's good. It's off the cuff. That's how it's supposed to be. Hit us with it, Terrance. I haven't done this
in a while.
Hit it with it, Terrance.
Okay. All right. Let's see what I got. I'm gonna pull something out of thin air right now.
That's what you always do, man.
Okay. They tell you not to judge a book by its cover, but from the side, you can still understand what you're getting.
From the side, I mean, from the spine of the book, though, it just tells you the name again, doesn't it? So it's
you can still understand what you're getting. So it's like if you view a person, right? They tell you not to judge a book by its cover, even when they're taking about people, right? Oh, you don't really understand them, you don't really know them, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm with you.
So the side of what you're getting from that person is more so information that you might see or get from people around them.
But you
Right.
don't. That the back of the book might tell you, not the side though. The side's just going to repeat this as the title.
Yeah, but the back of the book is not, the side. You can still understand what you're getting.
But the side says the same thing as the cover, just has the title and the author,
Exactly.
which is what the cover has.
Yeah, but you're looking from the side.
That's the same thing. That's like saying don't judge a book by its cover, judge it by its spine. It's like, well, the spine though it says what the cover says. It's just less detail because there's no picture on the side.
Exactly.
I know. Listen, I think I know what you were going for, but I don't think you hit it. And what can you do, man? It's been a while. Your fortune cookie, your fortune telling advice is a bit rusty.
A little rusty.
That's it. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next week. Nope, we will see you next time on the Backcourt.
Yeah.
So say peace.
Oh yeah.